Ulster at Connacht in the other big Irish game this weekend. My name's Mark, let's talk rugby. Connacht started this to brighten up the two sides. Nick and Ulster line out early on. Things looking good for them. Shane Bolton carrying really well out of his 22. But then he gets pinged for holding on. And that leads to the first score of the game going to Ulster. Morgan kicks Ulster into the corner. Go to the maul. Going forward, then Postlethwaite and Cock come in to add their weight. Over to go, and Andrew is the scorer. Cooney converts that from out wide. 7-0. Perfect start for Ulster. Although, as I said, Connacht were actually, in that first minute or two, were actually looking the one with the more intent. Connacht then, chance for a line out on the edge of the Ulster 22. Heffernan carries well as they spread it. Mac Hansen makes good ground up the wing before Ulster concede a penalty. Connacht go to the corner from that. Keane Prendergast claims the line out. They form their maul. Ulster disrupt well and force them to move it, but then referee Brace is actually in the passing line, so there's a 5-metre scrum to Connacht. Free kick at the scrum. Boyle taps and goes. Connacht a few metres from the line. They go close a few times before Ioanni's long pass out to Bolton puts him over in the corner. Conversions miss, 7 points to 5. Connacht then missed touch from penalty, but they get the ball back into 22 as I think an Ulster player tried to kick it, I think he hit a Connacht player, came back to him, but eventually Connacht actually turned the ball over. So then they're on the attack. Great tackle though from MacLeod, puts Bolton into touch. Cooney down with a great clearance kick as well, and pressure was relieved. But a lot of the game was Connacht applying the pressure, Ulster somehow soaking you up and then getting rid of the ball. Ulster's defence then pushes Connacht back into their own half before they turn the ball over, and then Ulster then drive forward. Connacht off their feet. Ulster penalty, into the corner it goes. They go to their maul again, but this time Connacht defend well and it goes to ground. Ulster carry close to the ruck as they're edging closer to that line. We then have a TMO check, and Postlethwaite has managed to get it down on the line, and conversion missed, 12 points to 5. Connacht then offside from a kick. Ulster go up the line, claim the line out. They go to carries in field. Then Cooney everywhere snipes and goes under the post, converted for 19 points to 5. And Ulster in control on the scoreboard, but again, Connacht were the ones, with more possession, but not really doing much with it. And credit has to go as well to Ulster defence. I thought they were excellent tonight. Connacht then with a chance to go to the corner from penalty. Heffernan finds his man the line out. Maul drives forward, and Ulster's maul defence just completely melts away. Over Connacht go. Joyce is the scorer. Conversion missed, 19 points to 10. From the restart then, Werner Koch goes to the bin for taking the man out in the air. So, extra man for Connacht for 10 minutes. They then, they're on the attack. Good defence over from Ulster, forcing errors, especially Stuart Moore putting in a really great hit in there. And then looks like Ulster have managed to run the clock down to half time, but they could see the penalty with seconds to go. Then there's a bit of back chat and they get marched back 10 metres. Connacht go up the line, off the top to Murphy. Ben Murphy, that is, and he breaks through the middle of the Ulster lineout, has the pace to finish, and he's just having a great season. I think it's a lesson for other players as well, who are going to spend most of the season sitting in the stands at Leinster. Why not go to another province, where there is chances in your position and get some game time. Conversion then makes it 19 points to 7 at half time. Ulster attacking at the start of the second half to go wide, and looked like there might have maybe been a forward pass in there, but they get isolated anyway. Penalty, then they get marched back for more lip, and somebody needs to be told to button it, whoever it is that's doing that, like costing them 20 metres. Then Prendergast claims the line out on the edge of 22. Connacht goes to the width. Bolton with a good carry. Thought he had a really good game tonight. O'Brien then forces his way over for what looks like the bonus point try for Connacht. But did he get it down? We have a TMO check, and the TMO says no. Held up, goal line dropout. But the original on-field decision was try. Ulster then managed to strip Beelum just outside their own 22. They go to Stockdale. He kicks forward and it kind of pinballs around before Mac Hansen knocks it into touch within maybe 7 or 8 meters of his own line. Ulster go to their maul from the line out, going forward, but Connacht managed to smother them and turn it over. Great work from Joyce in there. Ben Murphy, he's about to pass it then from the base of the resulting scrum, but it kind of lurches and he's not looking at the ball when it does. Kind of fiddles the ball a bit and ends up knocking it on. So, gives away a scrum to Ulster. We then have some handbags. When everything settles down, Mac Hansen is deemed to have started it. So now it's a penalty to Ulster. Ulster go to the corner again, get that maul going. Connacht bring it down again, but this time it's actually illegally. And Josh Murphy, he goes to the bin for that. Ulster then back to the corner. This time the maul is just irresistible and McCann is the scorer. Conversion missed for 24 points to 17. Next then, Connacht, plenty of ball, but Ulster's defence is just staunch. And they keep being able to kind of drive them back as well. And just not enough line breaks really for Connacht. And when they do make them, just, not enough support there either. Great take then from Cock from an up and under from Cooney. Really nice kick from him. But then Connacht managed to turn it over. They kick it downfield. I think it was one of the forwards maybe. I'm not too sure. Just kick down the middle of the field. But then a really great chase from Bolton makes an excellent kick. Forces McElroy into a hurried clearance. And as the Connacht line out 5 meters out. They claim the line out. And then the backs pile in. And again, over the maul goals. Tierney Martin is the scorer. Conversion levels us up at 24 all. Really good kick from Ioane there from out on the touchline. Connacht then attacking on the edge. And they kick through over the try line. Doka thought did really well to get himself back over the line, under a lot of pressure from Hansen. Then they win the penalty, and that allows them to, relieve what had been incessant pressure. Connacht just pushing, and they'll kind of look back at this and see it as kind of, missed opportunity really, given how many, entries they had into the 22. We didn't have a TMO check, for a high hit on McCormick. And this one is by Josh Murphy, who's now back on from a sin binning. And this one, shoulder to head, absolutely no mitigation. So it's not even a second yellow for him. It's a straight red, and he's off for the rest of the game. Cooney then slots the penalty to put Ulster back in front at 27 points to 24. Connacht get a chance to kick to the corner, but Ioane kicks it dead. And it wasn't even close. It was basically it almost went over, the end line, not between the two flags. So really poor kick from him and a big mistake at a crucial time as well. I thought otherwise he had a pretty good game. Some great attacking play then from Ulster, including a behind the back pass from McCormick, and then Lowry on at this stage looking lively too with one of his carries, and they forced Connacht to concede another 5 meter line out. McCormick hits his man, although just watching it, I don't know how the assistant didn't notice. He was clearly standing on the pitch when he threw the ball, not even anywhere close to the line. It's crazy. It's crazy. When you think about how finicky they are about where everybody else is standing in the line out, and they take ages to get them in the right line. They don't look at where the hooker is at all. But he's not the first hooker that's done that. Maul then making ground. And Timney, he goes off the back and over to win it for Ulster. Conversion is missed, 32 points to 24, and 8 points in it, and not really enough for time for Connacht to get 2 scores. Stockdale then knocks on in his own 22, gives Connacht the scrum, and then the clock is ticking down. Connacht win a penalty at the scrum after a few resets, and then Ioane pops that over for a losing bonus point, 32 points to 27. So let's quickly have a look at some of the stats. So first off, on attack, so 5 tries to 4 in favour of Ulster. And, we saw a lot of kind of maul tries in there. And then a lot of tries where there was pressure, on close to the line, and then they go to width as well. Both teams getting the try bonus point too out of that. Possession then, 48 for Ulster, 52 for Connacht. So again, Connacht with most of the ball. Clean breaks, just 1 for Ulster and 3 for Connacht. But again, Connacht couldn't really do anything with them, for the most part. Defenders beaten then 16 to 24, and then offloads, none for Ulster and 5 for Connacht, but really didn't help them, honestly, in terms of, they got back to parity at 24 all, and then, they weren't able to get that score that would have, put the kind of given them something to hold on to. Whereas Ulster, they got that penalty, which meant that Connacht had, were chasing a try to try and win it. And then it was Ulster that came up with the try. And then, Connacht, by the time they got the penalty, it was just for the losing bonus point. Onto defence then, territory 46 for Ulster, 54 for Connacht. So again, Connacht adding that. So more ball and more time in the Ulster half as well. Number of tackles, 133 for Ulster, 108 for Connacht, 24 missed tackles for Ulster to 16 for Connacht. So 85% for Ulster is, kind of the bare minimum, I'd say, in terms of what you're looking for from your defence. Connacht at 87 is a fairly standard URC rate that we see a lot. Turnovers 1 then, 8 each, very competitive between the teams in terms of, very aggressive defence from both of them, lots of physicality in there and competing at the breakdown as well. Kicking then, 10 kicks retained for Ulster to 1 for Connacht. That's a big win for Ulster in that regard. And you've got to give credit, especially to Cooney for some of the great kicks that he put in for them. Kicking success, let's ignore that because we always do. Penalties conceded then, 13 for Ulster and 10 for Connacht. So Ulster on the wrong side of the referee in terms of penalties. Obviously not quite on cards, so because they got 1 yellow and Connacht got 1 yellow and a red for the same guy, actually. But yeah, although Ulster were getting whistled and stuff and Connacht were getting chances to get into position, again, they just couldn't find that kind of killer move to get themselves, a score that may have put them in front. Successful carries then, Nick Timoney, 6 for Ulster, pretty decent shift for him. Same, Shane Bolton, mentioned him on the wing already, thought he had a really good game. Clean breaks then, 1 for John Cooney, I'm pretty sure that was his, the one for his try actually when he sniped. And then Shane Bolton, 2 for Connacht. He was definitely, I think, their best performer on the night. Defenders beaten then, 4 for Jacob Stockdale. Kind of quiet by his recent standards, but still, keep himself busy in the game. Bolton then with 9 for Connacht is amazing. And then meters made, 36 for Stockdale and 49 for Hansen. And two offloads for Cordero from Connacht. He hasn't, had the best start to the season. He was a little better tonight though, especially I think the last time I watched him, he had a bit of a nightmare. Next down onto defence, number of tackles, 16 for Dave McCann. Really, working hard there, hitting his tackles, got himself a try as well in this one. David Heffernan with 11 for Connacht, and he's got to be thinking now with how many injuries there are to, Irish hookers, that he's got a great chance really in the November internationals to kind of put himself forward and maybe, go on a bit of a run for some caps. Turnovers 1 then, 3 for Ethan McElroy. You know, you don't normally see like the fullback coming up with that many turnovers, but fair play to him. And then 2 for Josh Murphy for Connacht. So let's briefly talk about each of the teams. So starting with Connacht, you know, had a lot of the ball in the Ulster half, but they really did find it hard to break down that defence at time. They found themselves going backwards a lot of the time as well. It was strange too, because Aki was there, but he didn't have the same, you know, usual impact we'd expect from him in the carries. So you got to give credit to Ulster for that. But, you know, Connacht performing well could easily be 4 from 4, you know, when you think that, you know, in that opening game against Munster, they looked the more composed and the slicker of the two teams in terms of handling, but, you know, narrow defeat there. And then here as well, you know, they again had most of the ball. They weren't as slick in attack as we've seen them in other games, but still, you know, a close game and potentially could have been another win for them as well. But feels like now they need to get a few more results and put themselves, you know, in a better position on the log, because the last few seasons they've done this kind of thing where it's up and down all through the season, and then because of that they end up, you know, in and around the 8th place, you know, 8th to kind of 10th, 11th place on the log going into the last few rounds. And then, you know, it's all do or die for them then. And because of their inconsistency, they've found it hard to kind of, you know, that's it, consistency, right? They can't consistently nail down that top 8 finish that, you know, certainly at their height, they would be worth it, but still, you know, they need to be able to put in a run of results. So let's see if they can do that. Ulster, they started well. Cooney, I thought, was outstanding. Probably did just about edge it, but, you know, even though they've got 2 wins on the board, they haven't really put in a statement performance yet. And this is the first time that I've seen them, well, all season, out of the 4 games, where it felt like, you know, you could definitely make a case that they deserve to win the game, because they definitely didn't deserve to win the game against Glasgow, even though they did. And I think, like Connacht as well, they've got to start now stringing results together, and, you know, get you know, that's what it's all about, really, isn't it? You want to kind of have that confidence in the team where you get, you know, maybe win 3 out of 4 or something like that, or 3 or 4 in a row, and then that just builds that confidence, especially, you know, at this point of the season where I think it's important. It's a great kind of setup for the rest of the season going into, you know, European games. We're obviously going to have disruption now with the November internationals as well, and you want that confidence around your squad so that you can kind of carry that into the European games, and then beyond that, then into the kind of running in the season where you want to be competing on 2 fronts. You know, you don't want to be in a position where you know, you got too much to do in the league, and it's almost like, you know, you've got to win, you know, 70% of your games or something to have a realistic chance of making the playoffs. So yeah, so I think for both of these teams, really, we just want to see them, you know, putting you know, back-to-back performances and results together. You know, sometimes you got to win ugly, and if you can do that and then back it up with a decent performance that leads to, you know, a more comfortable win as well, that's really what we want to see from them. But, you know, for me, certainly an entertaining game. It wasn't in terms of like, you know, excitement in terms of, even though there's 9 tries in the game, there wasn't that much in terms of, like, you know, backs making breaks and stuff like that. But still, you know, I really enjoyed the game. I hope you guys did too, and let me know your thoughts down in the comments.